Imagine a jagged rock spire, 18 kilometers high, tearing straight up through the ground without warning. It looks like an alien bursting from its host. That peak is called Steeple Mountain, but you won't find it on Earth. It sits deep in our solar system, on Jupiter's moon Io, where the surface temperature is locked at a brutal -130 degrees Celsius. By all logic, this place should be a frozen, dead rock. In fact, Io has the lowest water content of any known body in the solar system. It is even drier than Mercury. Yet it is covered with up to 400 active volcanoes. To understand how weird that is, look at this cross-section comparing Io to one of its sister moons. The other large moons out here, like Europa and Ganymede, are entirely encased in thick shells of ice and liquid water. Io, on the other hand, is completely solid rock and metal. We have a freezing, bone-dry world covered in boiling magma and mountains that shoot straight into the sky. It breaks every standard rule we have for planetary geology. This top-down map shows Io precariously close to Jupiter, while 3 outer moons distort its path into an oval. As Io swings closer and further away every 2 days, Jupiter's uneven gravity physically stretches the solid rock upward by 100 meters, called tidal bulging. It is a constant cycle of stretching and squeezing. As Io moves along its 2-day orbit, it is continually distorted and released, acting exactly like a giant physical pump. All of that relentless gravitational friction drives immense energy directly into the center of the moon. It turns the entire moon into a massive self-heating engine that cooks from the inside out. If you look at this cross-section of Io's crust, you'll see the magma isn't sitting in one uniform subsurface ocean like Earth's mantle. Instead, the molten rock is trapped in isolated, glowing pockets, created precisely where the surface experiences the most severe gravitational flexing. Because Io lacks tectonic plates, that magma has no conventional way to escape. The pressure simply builds, until glowing lava violently sprays dozens of kilometers high, straight through cracks in the barren rock. Above those eruptions, massive plumes of highly toxic sulfur gas shoot hundreds of kilometers into the moon's thin atmosphere. When that sulfur eventually cools and settles, it paints the freezing surface. Crystallized sulfur creates vibrant yellows, frozen sulfur dioxide forms white and blue patches in the cold shadows, and sulfur monoxide turns the upper atmosphere green. The vibrant, bizarre colors we see from orbit are actually just layers of toxic volcanic exhaust, constantly freezing and renewing over a barren wasteland. Which brings us back to the mystery of Steeple Mountain. Without tectonic plates slowly colliding to force rock upward, traditional mountain building simply cannot happen here. To find out where these peaks come from, we have to look at the aftermath of those massive eruptions. When the surface collapses, molten rock fills the void, creating giant churning lava lakes, like Loki Patera, which spans 200 kilometers across. This diagram illustrates what happens when the molten rock cools. Losing support, a flat basin of solid crust collapses straight downward into the void. This heavy downward pressure acts like a giant lever, forcing the adjacent slab of rock instantly and violently upward. Steeple Mountain represents a violent, immediate reaction to a massive geological sinkhole collapsing right next door. Despite having the most dynamic, active geology we have ever seen, Io sits firmly at the bottom of NASA's priority list. Its absolute lack of water means there is exactly zero chance of finding alien life there. The incredibly detailed images we recently got from the Juno spacecraft might be the last ones we see for decades, as the probe is slowly running out of fuel. A new wave of exploration is heading to the Jupiter system, but it will completely bypass Io. The European Space Agency's JUICE mission is already on its way to investigate the icy Galilean moons. NASA's Europa Clipper is doing the exact same thing. Billions of dollars in advanced hardware are flying right past Io, aimed exclusively at the hidden, watery depths of Europa. Still, as new rocket technologies emerge and agency leadership turns over, priorities shift. One day we might finally dedicate a mission to the most extreme world in our solar system. Until then, countless other bizarre worlds are waiting to be uncovered in the deep dark of space. To join us as we explore them, hit subscribe and we'll see you in the next one.